You know that feeling when you finally have enough time, enough money, enough stability, but you still find yourself holding your breath? It is a quiet, persistent tremor in the back of your mind that whispers, "This won't last." You might find yourself checking your bank account even when you know exactly what's in it, or hoarding small resources, or feeling a flash of resentment when a friend succeeds. It is a constant, invisible calculation of less than. Even in moments of plenty, you are mentally preparing for the moment the well runs dry. Most people look at this and call it frugality or ambition, or maybe they criticize it as pessimism or greed. But these labels miss the quiet ache underneath the habit. This isn't a personality flaw, and it isn't a lack of gratitude. It is a deeply weathered neural pathway, a pattern of perception that has been etched into your mind by necessity, history, or fear. It is a way of seeing the world not as a garden, but as a map of disappearing borders. We are entering the world of the scarcity mindset. It is a psychological state that goes far beyond your finances. It is a lens that distorts how you view love, time, and your own potential. There is a weight to this way of being that people rarely explain correctly. It's not just about thinking positive. It is about understanding how your brain functions when it believes it is constantly under siege by not enough. In neuroscience, we call this cognitive bandwidth. When your brain perceives a lack of a vital resource, it tunnels. It focuses so intensely on the immediate deficiency that it loses the ability to see the bigger picture. Imagine trying to solve a complex puzzle while someone is whispering that you're running out of air. Your brain isn't broken during this process. It is actually being highly efficient. It is prioritizing survival over strategy. The tragedy is that this tunneling makes it nearly impossible to build the very structures that would lead to a life of plenty. When you are in the tunnel, you make decisions based on the next 5 minutes, not the next 5 years. You grab at what is immediate because you aren't sure if the future exists at all. This is why scarcity feels like a trap. The very mental state required to survive the shortage is the same state that prevents you from escaping it. This strategy often begins long before you have a career or a bank account. It is rooted in the nervous system's adaptation to an environment where resources, whether they were meals, parental attention, or emotional safety, felt unpredictable. If you grew up in a home where the other shoe was always about to drop, your brain learned that safety is a temporary state. You developed a survival strategy of hypervigilance. Today, that manifests as a nervous system that cannot relax into the present because it is too busy auditing the future for potential losses. You might find that you cannot enjoy a vacation because you are calculating the cost of the coffee. You might struggle to be present with your partner because you are wondering how long it will take for them to leave. You are living in a world of shadows, where every gain is merely a precursor to a loss. In the silence of a scarcity mindset, your body begins to hold the memory of not enough long before your mind does. You might notice it in the way your shoulders perpetually hike toward your ears, or how you rarely sit with your back fully pressed into a chair. This is muscular bracing, a physical manifestation of the belief that you must always be ready to move, to react, or to defend. Your body is living in a state of high alert, convinced that ease is a trap. When you finally do try to rest, the stillness feels threatening, as if letting down your guard will invite the very catastrophe you've been trying to outrun. This physical tension bleeds into the way you view your own potential. When resources feel finite, your dreams become smaller, more practical, and eventually more cramped. You stop asking, "What would I love to do?" and start asking, "What is the safest thing to do?" You begin to treat your life like a game of defense rather than a journey of exploration. The tragedy of the tunnel is that it doesn't just block out the danger, it blocks out the horizon. You become an expert at surviving a life that you have grown too afraid to actually live. There is also a quiet, bitter social cost to this way of being. In a scarcity mindset, the success of others can feel like a personal indictment or a direct threat to your own slice of the world. It's hard to truly celebrate a friend's promotion or a sibling's joy when a part of you is instinctively calculating how much luck is left in the room for you. This isn't because you are a cold person. It's because your survival brain views the world as a zero-sum game. You are constantly comparing your behind-the-scenes struggle to everyone else's highlight reel, and the math never seems to favor you. We must also look at the sunk cost of scarcity. Because you have worked so hard for the little you have, you might find it impossible to let go of things that no longer serve you. You stay in the wrong job, the draining relationship, or the stifling habit because you are terrified that if you let go, nothing else will come to replace it. You are holding on to a handful of sand so tightly that your hand has cramped shut, preventing you from reaching for anything new. In the world of scarcity, a known pain always feels safer than an unknown possibility. Even your memory is affected by this lens. People who live in chronic scarcity tend to remember their failures with a vivid, high-definition clarity, while their successes feel like flukes or accidents of timing. Your brain prioritizes the data of loss because it believes those memories will protect you from future pain. But this creates a distorted history, a biography where you are always the one who almost lost everything. You lose the ability to see your own competence, your own resilience, and the many times the world actually showed up to meet you. The most hidden cost, perhaps, is the loss of play. Play requires a sense of abundance, the belief that you have enough time and safety to do something that has no immediate utility. For someone in a scarcity mindset, play feels frivolous, even irresponsible. If it doesn't make money, solve a problem, or prevent a disaster, your brain struggles to see the point. But without play, the soul begins to wither. You become a high-functioning machine that has forgotten how to be a human being, losing the very spontaneity that makes life worth surviving in the first place. It is important to sit with the fact that this mindset is not a choice you made. It was a gift of protection. If you carry a scarcity mindset, it means you are a survivor. It means you have a high capacity for monitoring risks and protecting what you have. There is a deep, grounded wisdom in being aware of limits. The cost, however, is a quiet, permanent exhaustion. You are living in a state of mental hunger that no amount of success seems to fully satiate. This realization isn't meant to be a lecture, but a moment of grace. You are allowed to stop running. Your experience of not enough makes perfect sense when you look at the architecture of your life. You are not broken. You are simply well-rehearsed in a script that was written for a more dangerous world than the one you are in now. The world you inhabit today might actually have room for you to fail, to rest, and to try again. To begin the walk toward abundance is to realize that the rules you learned in the tunnel were never meant to be permanent laws of the universe. They were just emergency protocols. Breaking the cycle begins with the smallest acts of rebellion against your own fear. Leaving a little bit of food on the plate, taking a longer route home just for the view, or allowing yourself to want something you don't strictly need. Each of these moments is a message to your nervous system that the war is over. You are slowly retraining yourself to see that the world is not just a place to be survived, but a place to be inhabited. The shift out of this mindset isn't a sudden leap into positivity. It is a slow, rhythmic practice of proving to your nervous system that you are safe. It begins with noticing the tunnel when it happens. It begins with taking one breath that isn't rushed. It's about slowly convincing your body that the well isn't going to run dry today, and even if it did, you have the resilience to find water elsewhere. You don't have to fix this all at once. You just have to acknowledge that the weight you are carrying was a tool for a different time. You can thank that vigilant part of yourself for keeping you alive, for getting you through the lean years, for making sure you survived. And then you can gently tell it that its shift is over. You can let it rest. If this reflection on the quiet weight of less than resonated with you, I invite you to join us here. Subscribe if you want to continue this journey of looking beneath the surface of our common experience. And if you've spent your life waiting for the well to run dry, leave a comment. Your story matters, and in this space, there is enough room for all of it.